So this is a video I've been wanting to make, and I might have to remake this video um, because it's about a self-improvement process. And one of the issues I find myself facing is that I'm constantly finding imperfections in what I do. And unfortunately, I'm not a video creator to begin with. I'm not a typically creative type. I'm not big into music, into general art, into general building sort of types of activities. I have generally been a games and sports kind of person. I'm into strategy, into competing, into learning cool techniques and strategies. I'm into about disrupting people's rhythms, and maybe some bit of cooperation in the games and sports I play. But I'm not into synergistic creative sort of things. So this is hard for me. Um, I'm a 30-year-old guy who's worked a lot of jobs that don't connect together. And now I'm trying to create a filming sort of career to chart my improvement process, to bring what I do know, what little I know, to help other people. And it's a kind of a scary prospect, you know? And I'm doing this completely by myself, which is both amazing because I love, something that is truly about me, but it's also freaking scary because, there's a lot of people out there who are really good at this. And in a way, I feel like I'm competing with them. Obviously I'm not. We're all trying to do our own thing. But I'm used to that sense of looking, comparing, competing, right? So anyways, I created this channel, I believe, June of last year, 2020. I've been thinking about this for a while. And the main topics I want to focus on in terms of what I record and put out there to, help myself and help people is running, because I love running. I've been doing so much of it, and I hope to talk about that. Generally, my improvement process. There have been a lot of things that I've had issue with in my life that I really want to improve. And I'm hoping as I fix these things, whether it's, the clutter of my room, my lack of regular habits in my life, just how I approach things, sleep, the process of creating something, how I schedule things around in my day. I want to chart these improvements, develop them, show people how I'm improving, and also hopefully as I, master these, hopefully I master these things, I can show people, because a lot of times you read these things in books, you don't really see it in action. So hopefully I can chart that process and show you a practical application of the pitfalls you'll run into, the steps you take to actually key in and execute these improvements, So running, self-improvement, video making, I'm new to this and I would like to figure it out. And it would be cool if I could help people who don't know anything about video making, help them make videos, because it's terrifying. This is like the best I've felt in front of a camera in terms of being able to talk and not stumble. It's April 2021, and this is the best I'm doing right now. This is the most comfortable I feel, and it's fucking, I don't know, it's kind of ridiculous. I stumble, I pause a lot, I get lost, I panic. So this actually feels great. Not even on any sort of substances that would help with that. But I'm just finally in a state environment where this is working. Anyways, I digress. So again, running, self-improvement, video making, and actually, sorry, I should have mentioned this before, video making, financial literacy, whether that's, credit cards, how do you find a credit card that works for you? I mean, there's a lot of things to look into. And I just really want to break stuff down about, credit cards, to make it less scary for when you're trying to find one. But besides credit cards, in the world of financial literacy, checking savings, investing in the stock market, which companies. So for all of these things, right, there are a bunch of different apps, a bunch of different companies, each with their own policies. Basically, in the world of finances and just money in general, there are a lot of choices. how do I best, invest my money in a safe way, but get a lot of money back? That's the big question everyone's asking. I want to get a lot of money without risking it all. Now, it's kind of impossible, right? You can't make money without risking money. And the bigger the possible earnings, of course, the bigger the risk. But there are some choices that we're just going to avoid. I'll talk about those. Where some things are just too risky without any upside. And some things just have like a good amount of upside without too much risk. We want to separate those from the rest of the pack, because some choices are just like, hey, like I will almost get no like drawbacks from this, but it's a good chance I'm going to make money. It's pretty stable. And some are just like, that's a horrible choice. Don't ever do it. Like pretty much no one should ever be in that situation and put their money there, make that choice. So I just want to talk about these because I have been in a variety of these situations. So I just want to talk about it, kind of make it less scary, because money can be a scary concept for people. Getting yourself into debt, getting yourself where your money is trapped in an illiquid situation. We'll talk about liquidity. Yeah, so these are the main things I want to talk about on my channel. And I'm really sorry for having put this off for so long. I mean, to be honest, I'm mostly sorry to myself because this is a project I really wanted to do, and I felt like I betrayed my own core and, who I am, what I want to do in waiting this long. That said, one of the core mottos, lessons from last year, basically something that I've been thinking about since last year, is this phrase in my head, and it's, accept your losses, right? If you've lost something and you can't get it back, you have to be able to move on from that. You can't just stay there, get stuck, and like mull over in like an angry way and let it keep dragging down and poison your mindset. You have to acknowledge that it happened. Hopefully that you can, hopefully you can learn and figure out what you did wrong there. Sometimes it's not exactly anything you did. It's, outside circumstances, but being able to recognize which is which, whether, how much of it was your fault, how much of it was luck, is important. And then the other part of what I was thinking, so it goes, accept your losses and take your wins when you can. So when you have the opportunities, seize them, don't let them pass. For someone like me who is very hesitant, who can be sometimes very risk averse. Adversity and aversion are very different things. Well, yeah. Anyways, the point is they're different. So for someone who, like me, who's risk averse, sometimes I let opportunities go by. And I have been now trying to seize as many of them as I can. And to just put this in context, in 2020, last year, particularly with the pandemic, but even before then, I essentially created a New Year's resolution for 2020 to run 2,020 miles. It started off as just a joke New Year's resolution to run 1,500 miles, and I thought that was going to be difficult, which it was. But a few months through, as I figured out how to run more without getting injured, I figured, hey, I am about to match or exceed the pace of 1,500 miles for this year. Let's see if I can, ramp it up to 2020. It's 520 more miles, but I think I can pull it off. And there were some periods of time during the year where I wasn't making it. At one point, I got 450 miles basically, behind my pace. I didn't think I was going to make it a little bit at that time. And I said to myself, hey, you just have to math it out and then just go for it and see, if you make it, you make it. If you don't, you don't. But you have enough time to do it. So if you take the chances, barring any injury, you just got to shoot for it. And so in the days where I was feeling better and I could run farther, I would take that opportunity, midway through the run and say, hey, today was supposed to be 6 miles, but based on my schedule, there's no harm in pushing it to 7 or 8 for the day. My body feels up for it. And then on the other hand, going back, there were days when, I was slated to run actually, there was a day I was slated to run a marathon as part of my training program to run 30 miles. And at that time, the California fires were happening. There was smoke outside. I couldn't run outside without it being a health hazard. And so as much as I hated it, I had to take that loss. And, just wait for the opportunities for when I could run. And I made it happen. In November through December, I believe it started in early mid-November through mid-December, I had 4 weeks where I averaged 100 miles. It was a few weeks of high 80s to 90s. I think 2 weeks over 100, including a week that I think was 117 miles. And I made it happen. I made 2,020 miles on my last day. Anyways, this is a long rant about how I'm trying to get my channel off the ground. These are the things I want to talk about, and I'm hoping that I can bring content on a more regular basis, not just for your sake, but also for mine. I hope to build this relationship and create something that I can be proud of, and hopefully that will be helpful to you guys as well. Whoever you are, it's not that I don't care about you, but it's that I don't want to limit my message to any specific audience. Whoever sees this and finds it helpful, that's great. I just want to be helpful to anyone I can, whether it's improving their running, their whatever. And hopefully I will be expanding later because I do have other things I want to talk about. I just haven't detailed them here because they're not quite as, I want to say, concrete-ized. That's not a word. But yeah, I haven't made them as concrete, but they will be coming. I just want to start with these main topics. So hopefully this recorded, and if it did, I hope to upload it and get off to a start to this channel, because so far it's just been random videos. Want to focus that. Anyways, thank you, and goodbye. Every time I record, I feel like I rotate it clockwise a little bit further, so I'm trying to recenter this. I have to sit it into this thing properly. Okay.